Good morning. It is 9:28 a.m. on Friday, January 31st, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I feel a little better rested today compared to the last couple of days. I think that it's possible that my body is just sort of getting more used to being interrupted, and so I'm just sort of more able to just get right back to sleep and not be spending my periods of sleep anticipating the next waking. It helps. Don't worry, there's going to be more puppy footage here in a minute. You know, training has begun, and so we've got a clicker. And although the initial bag of little training treats that I bought seemed to be a bust because he just doesn't like them, which is weird, but whatever. However, just individual pieces of the regular kibble seem more than adequate. And so what we've mostly begun so far is just the basic training of a click means you get a treat. And then also doing enthusiastic praise, click, and treat for any time peeing or pooping outside. Not that we've had a lot of accidents because I'm being proactive about it, but also I've got the pad down. And so what I've discovered is that if the pad is there, sometimes he'll go and pee a little bit on it, even if it's only been like 30 minutes since we last went out. So it's a little bit of a dilemma of like, should I have the pad there? I mean, I want him to be able to know that the pad is where you go, but then he also wants to chew the pad and blah, 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 blah. So all of these things in progress. But so in between puppy play sessions and when it was puppy nap time, I did do some other things yesterday. I played a little bit of first of all, I played more Death Stranding, and honestly that game continues to just be super weird. Did I already do a video where I talked about how it has a character named Heartman whose heart stops every 21 minutes and then restart? He has a one of those defibrillators strapped to him that restarts it after 3 minutes, and so he just lives his life getting like dying temporarily every 21 minutes. There's plot reasons that's even more interesting, but just in general, that's sort of an episodic mindset, and they literally even go into how he has a whole media shelf full of things that can be done in 21 minutes, so lots of like individual sitcom episodes and stuff like that, which, I don't know, I just kind of, there's something kind of morbidly fascinating there. I mean, even beyond the literal, element of that, but super weird, and I couldn't help but relate to that feeling a little bit as I was getting up at 2:30 in the morning to take a little puppy outside. Also, what else? Oh, right. I also played a little bit of a game called Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a very interesting little indie game, I think made all by one person, where it looks a little bit like the graphics are made to look like really, really like old school monochrome graphics, but at the same time it's definitely rendered in 3D as you walk around this ship, where the idea is it's sort of sailing ship era, and the idea is that a ship has returned with no one left alive aboard, and your character has been sent to the ship to basically figure out what happened. And you have like this magic stopwatch that lets you find a place where someone has died and temporarily recreate like an image and some sound of the moment where that person died. And so gradually you're supposed to figure out the fate of everyone aboard, and what that requires is like you have a list of everybody's names, but you don't have pictures. You have a picture of everybody where they're not named, and then you have various relationships and maps and other things, and then you have to basically go and look at all the memories and then try to put it together through context clues, who is which and how did each person die and so on. and also just the mystery of how did this ship come to be in this situation. It's really pretty cool, actually. So I'm enjoying that. And then last but not least, I want to just I watched the last episode of The Good Place, the finale, and that was a show where like I had forgotten it was on last night, and so I just started seeing people tweet about it and felt like, okay, well, need to watch this right away. I don't want to get spoiled by it on Twitter, but that was a show where I got physical anxiety starting to watch it, just because I could absolutely anticipate exactly kind of what it was going to be, which was sweet but sad, kind of a slightly bittersweet feeling of like, oh, but I wish it could go on forever. But it's also about that, because it's about living and dying and, eternity and all of that sort of thing. And it was lovely. And ultimately, the show, like the actual episode itself, was about coming to peace with things ending, which is a hard subject to tackle, especially in a comedy. And it was just wonderful. Like what a great, amazing show that was. And I love it. And then, because I promised, let's point the camera down there. Look at this little guy. Once I get the video posted, we're going to head right back outside, because he just had his breakfast. And so that means the next potty break necessity is going to be slightly sooner than the cycle would dictate otherwise. And he's continuing to be just a total sweetheart that is teething and therefore wants to chew on anything, and especially things that move and smell like me. So, like toes, So that's a work in progress. But he's an adorable little muffin. And I'm very tired, but things are going great. All right, I'm going to leave it there for right now, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. How about that?